All right, so let's continue with the decisions. So let's create another class and let's have here decisions. So example, we are going to, okay, so let's say we have here number is equal to integer dot parse int, okay, and then we are going to take input from the user. So show input type integer, okay. So now we have this what we called saka na to na yan. So in decisions, in programming, it's important for us to know how to create decisions. And by creating decisions, this requires logical thinking because most likely programmers who doesn't have who are not equipped with logical thinking might suffer from almost decisions or logical structure na iyang buhaton would result to logical error, and that's something that is really difficult to trace. No, that is something really difficult to debug. So unless syntax error and compile error lang na siya, kasi kung syntax error, the Eclipse is going to give us which line is particularly the error, and then also with compile error, it will also give us the error. Parang isumon niya asa dapit ang error sa tuang lines. But with the logical decisions or decisions, the compiler has limitation on that, no? Because the decisions that we are going to make are not are beyond control of the compiler. So that is why, as a programmer, you must have a highly analytical skills or highly logical thinking skills. So with that, let's say in creating decisions in Java, we have different types of decision. We have single if, okay. We also have two-way if, single or one-way, okay. One-way if. We have two-way. We have compound if. We have multiple if, and then we have nested if. So let's discuss this one by one. So let's start with single or one-way if. Example. Actually, nakita na ninyo kanina ang single if. Easy lang siya. Kasi, if you are going to create decision like if num is equal to 12, let's say, assuming this is an input, okay, let's say we want to know if the number is odd or even. So, to know that the value is num or even, odd or even, we have to use only one proposition for this one, that we have to calculate either if the number, when it is divided by 2 and there is no remainder, when there is no remainder, then that number is actually even. Even number, right? So this one is an example of single if or one way, because you only have one condition. You only have one condition, and you also have one consequence. So again, decision in programming is important. Like this is our way as a programmer. So to tell our user to do something, and as a program that we created, it is going to give the consequence whenever the user enters a certain value. So there is responsiveness. So this ones, we are actually surrounded with decisions. Like Now, by clicking play, by clicking this one, by clicking this one, these ones are decisions. If you click these ones, these are all decisions. Okay? If you want to play or not to play the game, there is decision there. If you want to run, if you want to walk in a game environment, that's also a decision. And everything you do there it's actually composed and created, composed of decision structures. So that is why it's really important for you as a programmer to know how to develop your logical thinking skills, because again, these are kani siya, it's just a logical thinking, dili din siya ang actual na buhaton ninyo sa programming. Okay? So, kasi like for an instance, you will create enrollment system. So, na mga decisions nila, whether to let the student proceed with the enrolling the course if there is prerequisite or not, or if nag-fail siya or what, or nag-drop or nag-pass. So, there are decisions there. So, kana siya, mao na to ang mga, that's where we are able to apply our logical analysis. Okay, so if we are going to run this program here, so we have here 12 is an even number. So if you're going to have like 3 here, so this would give us nothing because, again, we only have single if. Okay, so kumbaga, sa real, kung tao pa ni, single if, this is parang too loyal. No, loyal kaayo sa iyahang, kung i-relate natin siya sa isa ka person, ang pagiging single if is loyal to a person because no matter what happen, okay, no matter what happen, you will be the person I'm going to choose. Okay, murang ana ba? So, bisan pag usay mahitabo ikaw ug ikaw lang akong pilion. So, mo ning sa single if. Sana all, no? So, mo na single if. Wala na siya laing, kung kumbaga, wala siya laing option, no? Don't give me option because I will always choose you. Charot. Okay? So, that is single if. Okay? So, ang two-way if naman, na ipagkabigaon. Okay, ano na lang pakapinan o ano, kaya para maganahan mo maminaw. So, ang two-way if naman is na ipagkabigaon because probably this person has two options, either kaya two-way, no? If dili ka, then don't I will not worry because I have other option. So medyo na ipagkabigaon siya because you have another else statement or consequence. Okay, so right here you can assume that when it is not an even number, therefore I can assume that it is an odd number, right? So, like for an instance, this is your first option. If mag-fail ko sa first option or mag-false ko sa first option, then I don't care because I have another option. So, that's two-way if. Okay, daghan siyang options. Hala, alas 12 na, wait for a while. Mag-attendance ako sa ay, tama na yun, no? Pareha naman na yun, eh. Okay. Pareha naman ang klase na to, no? Tama ba? Continue man eh. Tama? Kasi, second ini, nag-start man tayo with residual. Okay. Sige, continue ta. Let's have here compound if. Now, sa compound if, it's either single if siya or two-way if. However, mula siya sa sentence ba na kay duha ka subject and kay di ba pag may compound sentence. Unsa gani ang compound sentence? Compound sentence is a sentence that has unsa? Hello. Unsa ang compound sentence? It's a sentence that has two, say two niya.
Clauses, sir.
Two independent clauses.
Two independent clauses. So, two independent clauses. Assuming daw, mao niya to ang clause, no, or consequence. So, since we only have one clause, therefore, okay lang na wala tay, dili na to siya butangan og ah, parang sa tawag na, open and close curly brace. Okay? For compound if, okay, either it is actually single if or two-way if, basta compound if, meaning there is already or there are already two statements in that particular condition. So, kasi if ever na naghimo ka condition and let's say you have another statement here, the good thing kasi kani siya, num is an even number and sige, lang nato di amazing. Okay, so if you are going to you have the compound statement here, so you have num is an even number and we want to display another statement that says amazing. So notice that although 3 is an odd number, remember, odd number siya, dapat kani, this one. Sige, ato saning tanggalon si... Okay, let's remove that decisions. So you have here, let's focus on the compound if. So as you can see, we have here, it's like, it's the way you want to achieve the what you call this one, the output that it should display num is even number and then something like amazing is no longer achievable, o kumbaga wala nimo na achieve because the only thing that is displayed is amazing, though try na to siya na 4 ni siya. Okay, so you have here 4 is an even number, then amazing. Now in the case of you have another decisions like else statement, okay, so and then you have another like expressions here, notice that you this will give us an error. So pag compound, pag single if okay lang, pero pag compound if makita nimo na that this one already requires you to have what you call this one, an exclusiveness or exclusivity of your statement. So let's say we have this is an odd number, and then let's say since nag-error dire and then ato siyang ibutang dire. Okay, so let's say here pretty, example lang pretty. So still notice that we still have an error because this will require us another curly brace. So if again you have two compound statements, just wait for a while. Just wait for a while. Close the door. Okay. Okay, so we have saan ako? So if you have two statements in your if condition, because that's more likely to happen in the future, kasi most likely, no, based on my experience, most of your codes will not, will not only contain one single statement. So kung single statement lang or one statement lang, okay lang walay in ani. Okay, pero pag two statements na, three or more than statements, you have to include this one. Parang friends gani niya. Okay, parang asa siya tama na block ang akong i-process. Okay? So para sure siya na think of this one as your balay gani. No? So kung imong balay walay coral, you don't have there's nothing na barrier ba, no, nag-separate sa inyong balay. So you have the sa kanina sa English ang kuan or Tagalog ang kanang backyard, no? Sa Tagalog kuan nataran, So, sa Tagalog na. Basta, assuming lang, this is house A. Okay, this is your house.
Bakuran, sir.
O bakuran. Okay, this is your house. This is house B. So, man imong house, kanimong house, and then let's say walay fence. Okay, like dito sa laing nasod, no, sa Samoa, sa Australia. Wala man may friends dito. Wala may, di ba, sa uban dito sa laing nasod, wala mga coral, wala mga fence. As example lang, in between the house A and house B, na kahoy. Now, let's say na mango tree that bear apple fruits. Okay, kuya, bitaw na mangga or na apple na ni tubo, and then katong wala pa siya, let's say wala pa siya bunga, dahon pa lang ang matagak. And then let's say si house A assume the responsibility na iyahan na lang tong apple tree. So since iha tong apple tree, then therefore responsibility niya na siya ibo ano sa mga leaves that will fall, no, aside sa ikaw ma-fall sa iya bitaw. So now, if that is the case, masuko ang house B kay ang mga dahon kay ni apil og katagak dito sa iyang backyard or sa iyang bakuran. So it will cause commotion, no, probably conflict sa inyuha between two houses. Now, para now the conflict na, especially pag nanay mag-bear na siya fruits, let's say nagnana siya ni nanay bunga, and then pag nanay bunga dili naman giyaw-yaw si house B kay matagak ang bunga padulong sa iyaha. Pero katong time na dahon pa lang matagak, siyempre magyaw-yaw siya. Okay, that is just a scenario. Okay, now for you to of course something like mag-ano kag fence, regardless kung nagyapoy fence, di ba, one of the ways na pwede nato buhaton is magputang tag fence, siguro paslag kay para kay, di ba, yung tunga man. I don't know how are you going to do that, engineers man mo, or probably magbutang knife fence, bahalang nasa tunga ang punuan, pero nakay net padulong ni anag langit, no, para at least ang mga apple na matagak padulong gyapon sa imuha. Ipadulong jug langit para sagad, no, jud apple matagak sa pikas. So what I'm trying to elaborate here is that you put exclusivity. I mean, you impose exclusivity, that this is your ownership. So that is what it is trying to do, kaning if else condition nato. So there is ownership that if this will be true, then the scope that it is going to execute will be only this statement. Okay, nothing else, no? So mo na siya ang idea of compound if. But similar again, para mas dali sa laktod na pagastorya kay medyo daga na kay grabing story. Basta kay if you have two statements or compound na imong statements, then you will need to have this one. Okay? So pag wala, normal lang na pwede ra dili. Pero ako, I suggest na mag-practice mo, if mag-program yun mo pohon, na you have this one. Dapat na kay open and close parenthesis regardless of it is only one single statement. So in some programming language like Python, dili siya need na naay open and close brace, curly brace, kasi indention ang labanan dito sa Python. Sa .NET pod kay naa siya block na mag-function, tapos naa siya end function. So same good sa katong HTML nato, no? So natay body, opening body, natay closing body. Inana ang kasagaran logic sa uban scripting and programming. Pero for C, C++, PHP, for C#, for Android programming, almost mga programming languages follows the same format in Anisha. Okay? So that's it. Now for multiple if, let's say for an instance, proceed ka sa multiple if. let's say we want to know if a number is, let's say, positive, negative, or origin. Kaya syempre, dili man pwede na ang ang zero, kung mag-input siya zero, di ba, origin dapat, dili siya negative nor positive. So, that's the time, atong condition must be multiple if. So, kani, compare sa single o two-way if, medyo, matawag yun nato siya bigaon yun ni dako. Okay? Kung ang two-way if, gamay nga pagkabigaon, kani, bigaon yun ni dako, kay daghan siya og options. Example, we have if equal to 0, ayan. Right? And you simply display here that num is an origin. Okay? And then else if num is, let's say, less than or equal to less than 0. So is num is negative. Okay? Pwede po nimo dungagag else or else if. But pwede na else one na may lying option, meaning it's an origin and it is it's either positive siya. Okay? So and then you can keep on adding more and more if else if block. Okay, basta make sure kung dungag kag another condition else if siya, else if. Okay, notice that the only thing na walay condition is else. Okay? Meaning wala na siya laing option. Kumbaga, if no matter daghan kag options, kani si else mao ni siya ang martyr sa imuha. If everyone is going to reject you, the else statement is going to accept you no matter what. Charot. Oh. So, ana na si else, mo na ID, mo na ano ni else, no? So, if all rejects you, then there's still else that is going to that is willing to accept you. So, pwede ka daghag else if condition dala. Pero ang ending ana kung false to tanan, else si else is naadira always willing na siya mo dawat kung dili always kung tanan if conditions nimo or tanan nimong giatuan will be false or rejected ka. So diri ka sa else. Ayan. But again, if any of the else if statement or if or else if statement na adira isa nga nag-approve or ano sa imo then mao na ang i-execute niya. Okay? So example, we have num0. So 0 is an origin. Ayan. So num2, okay, so this is positive sa else kasi is 2 equal to 0, no, is 2 less than 0, that's false. Okay, therefore it is positive. Pero pag-ana ta, yan, negative, so negative 2 is negative. Alright, so that is multiple if. Now, what if, okay, daghan pag what if, no? What if you want to combine them together? Okay? Gusto nimo siya i-combine ang origin, negative, o positive. Okay? You have, we can always remember that in programming, you have multiple, depending on your brain cells, depending on your logical thinking, you can, one problem can be provided with different possible solutions. Ika nga, there are many ways on how to cut a cat, on how to kill a cat. Okay? Or there are many ways on how to actually give effort to someone whom you love. Okay? So daghan pa maagi para maano nimo siya ang mapa-express nimo sa iha na love nimo siya. Okay? Sige. Now, if let's say we are going to combine this together, that we have even number at the same time add number and we are going to combine that this is an origin or negative or positive, we can do this, or we can create a decision by something like this. If num is equal to 0, okay, so we can just simply put here like num is let's say origin, and pwede automatic siya origin and even, because 0 is considered as even number, right? So we have, let's say, else. So this time, to create a decision with nested if, okay, you can have here like if, okay, num, sorry, dili na lang to speakers. Pwede na po dire. Again, as I've told you, I was thinking of different solutions. So, pwede na gyapon ta diretso dire. If num is less than 0, or pwede po dire, else if num less than 0, okay, and then num modulus to 2 is equal to 0, then pwede ta magputang di or display og num is, okay, num is negative even. Okay, so num is negative even because any number less than 0 is, and it is, if it is modulus to 2 and without remainder, it is negative even. So there's no more decisions for that. Obviously, you have here, it is negative add, okay, or add. Oh yeah, it's negative add. Okay, so if not, it's not negative. If it's not negative, then obviously this is positive. But again, you are going to have here another decisions to test whether it is positive, okay, even or positive add. Okay, so that is it for nested condition. So in nested condition, ato ning area. Okay, so focus on the nested condition. So we have here, let's say num is equal to 0. So we have nested conditions here. This is the first condition. So if this will be evaluated, let's say num equal to 0. So num is origin and even, obviously. And then, so i-print niya ni automatically. So meaning it is not going to proceed to any else if black. Okay. So let's say if this is 2. So 2 is num, which is 2 is equal to 0. That's false. Then proceed siya with else if. Is it less than 0? No, it is not less than 0. Therefore, ano siya sa else statement. So, pag abot sa else if statement, there is also another condition that says whether if num modulus to 2 is equal to 0 is 2 when divided by 2, what is the remainder is actually 0, then num is positive even. Okay? Otherwise, if this is like 3, false here, false also here, and then diri siya, and then false here, and then mag-true siya actually sa else statement na siya. So positive add. So obviously for negative numbers, whether it is even or add, it will fall here. Okay? So let's start with the 0. Ayan. So 0 is origin and even. Ayan. So let's have, let's say 2. So 2 is positive even. So diri siya. And then let's have here another one. Let's say 3. So 3 is positive add. And then let's have one more. Let's say negative 5. So this is negative add. And then if we have here 8, so this is negative even. Okay? So, that is nested if. Now, question. Sir, ako na lang mag-question. Kay bahalag mga tulog mo dira. Now, sir, is there any possible na or is there any possibility that dili ko mag-nested using this one? Again, as I've told you, depende na sa inyong logic. Depende na sa unsa inyo pag-answer sa problem. Okay? So actually yes, pwede nato ni without nesting it, no, without nesting. So without nesting it, probably imuhang decisions would be copy paste nato ni siya and then okay. So without nesting it, pwede ka mag end, no? And if num modulus to 2 is equal to 0, then automatically this is yan. So negative even. So pwede na po natin mo ipadayon. So else if num let's say probably equals or not equal to when it is divided by 2, always no ang result kay 1. Tama? Okay. So na siya 1 and then that is negative add. So else if num is greater than 0 and modulus to 2 is equal to 0, this is positive even. And then otherwise, this will be positive add. Okay, so let's try if pareha ba. So we have 0. So dapat mo-display siya origin and even. Let's have another one, 2. Let's see if they do the same. So positive even, negative 3. Okay, so you have here negative positive. Oops, whoa. So based on our condition, we have negative add dapat. So probably ang mali na to dire part. So 3 is less than 0. Okay, wala day nato din na. So this is add na part is dapat din na part negative add. So is not equal to 0 na lang. Okay, para safe. And then, yeah, so negative add. Ayan, so negative add kasi naday times na when you divide by 2, any number divided by 2 is dili 1 ang result. Para to pag negative. So not negation siya or not equal di ay. Okay? So negative add, ayan, and then you can have let's say negative 4. So negative even, and yeah, that's it. All right, so another way to do this is using another operator in Java, which is called ternary operator. Okay, so in Java, we have ternary, even in other programming language, na po di siya, present di siya. We call this as ternary operator. So, ang resulting ano gyapon ani if true or false gyapon. However, in ano siya, let's say string hold is equal to, and then let's say num is equal to 0. Let's start with even number. Okay, equal to 0. So when it is true, okay, you pass there num is even. Okay, otherwise, you pass there num is add. Right? So, what happened? Num, ay, okay, napasal, nagawas ta, tirita dapat. Okay, ternary operators. Okay, so, i-display na to siya. Let's say sys out. So katong gibuhat nato last time sa taas can be simplified by using ternary operator. So yan, 4 is even or even negative 4 ba siya? Negative still the same. Let's say maghimo ta butang na to 8 or 5. So ang result gyapon atong ternary operator is add. So it says here that when you divide number by 2, if the result is 0, then if it's true, then iyan i-display ang even. So ibutang na niya sa hold, string hold. Okay, so ang hold now will hold num is even. Otherwise, kung false, mo hold siya by num is add. So another one, if kani siya, ato na siyang if you want this or kani, but actually pareha lang na siya, we are going to solve that. Pwede gihapon nato na siya ibutang drill like, so wait for a while. So you have your hold is equal to, let's say, equal to 0. Num is origin. Okay? And then num is, so when it is false, kung dili siya 0, you will have another condition here that says if num is less than 0, you have here negative. Okay, otherwise, you have positive. So, by then, pwede nimo siya i-ano, system that out, that print, hold. So, there. Yan. So, 5 is add positive. Pwede na ito butangan siya og wait. Tagalan na ito ni siya print. Okay. Then, maka-display na taog. 5 is add positive. Okay. And then, if atwa siyang negative, let's say negative 8. So, mo-display po na siya og is even negative. So, wala lang siya space, pero pwede na ito na butang space. Or, yeah, something like that. So, ayan, na-simplify na to ang code by using ternary operator. Okay? So, yeah, that's it. And, pwede pa po na nimo siya na iisa lang yun siya ka-statement, actually. That's nested ternary operator. Alright, question. Question?
None po, sir.
So, nakuha?
Dili pa kaayo, sir. Loading pa
Naka-analyze
naman.
mo po, sir.
Sige lang, no? Mabalikan, mabalikan, maghapon niyo, di ba?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
anak na lang. Sige. Okay lang, padayon tag one more topic na lang, then let's end our discussion. Padayon tag isa? One more?
Yes, sir.
Sige. So, dili kay nato tason ang atong recording kay para dili siya